Hello friends, switching seats can be tricky and difficult somehow, but in this video I'm going to be sharing with you a simplified method of switching seats in Adobe Photoshop. This is Twisted Creative. Alaribe Emmanuel is my name. If it's your first time on this channel, please do me a favor. Do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button. Not just hitting that subscribe button, also ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the next video. Without wasting much time, let's get into it. This is the image we are going to be using, and we are not going to be changing this background. We are still going to bring in that seat onto this background, and it's going to look superb and natural. We are going to be starting by duplicating this image. We have to create another copy of this image. We have to use our Ctrl J to duplicate the image. The reason why we duplicate this image so that we'll be able to see this one and after, that is before and after. So we are going to select this top layer. Let's disable the background layer, then select the top layer, then go to auto select. You can choose any of your auto select that you can use for selection, but let me just do with magic wand here, and I'm going to click on select for us to have the image selected. Photoshop has done its work, so let's see if it is perfect. If it is not, we are going to make corrections. So we are going to be starting by correcting this area. Let's go correcting. Let's pick our lasso tool and we can add this area. So we're going to remove the air from selection. So I'm going to be adding this area to selection. We are done selecting the body part, so we have to include the hair. By creating more space, we are going to expand the selection from this place. So we have to add the selection with plus, then we have to circle around the hair. So I think the selection is okay like this. Then okay, let's check inside. We have the image selected now, the entire image selected. The next thing we do now is that we are going to right click and feather with 2, then hit OK. We have to use our Ctrl C to copy, then our Ctrl V to paste. So if you take a look, we have extra copy here, cut out copy here, which is floating on the air. So let's enable this back and let's continue. So we are going to rename this to be cut out. Then we'll rename this middle one to be background. So hit OK. So we are going to select the background layer now. Then we are going to click inside the box of the cutout, this cutout box. We have to hold our control down and click inside to generate our selection back. So we have our selection back. So we are going to disable the cutout layer. Then with this background layer selected, we'll go to select, modify, then expand. We are going to be expanding with 20, then hit OK. Yeah, if you take a look now, if you take very close look, you notice that we've expanded the selection with 20 pixels. The next thing we are going to be doing is removing this chair finally. So we have to pick our lasso tool, then we are going to add to this selection. We are going to hold our shift to add the selection, then we can select and add the seat to the selection like this. So with this selection now, we'll be able to remove the entire image including the seat from this background. So we are going to right click and go down to content aware fill. So this is what content aware is showing us. Then let's see the magic here. You see the magic happen here, but we can make use of this. Let's just hit OK for this. So this is what we got. We have to use our Ctrl D to deselect. Then if you take a look at the layers here, you notice we have something plain white here, and at the same time we are still having the image on the background layer. and we don't want it that way. So if you disable this now, you notice the image is still there, but Photoshop is covering it with this white layer. So we are going to select the background layer, then we have to hold our Control or Shift to click on the copy, which is generated by the content aware fill. So we are going to use our Control E to merge both of them together. So with this now, we have just the background. If you disable it, you notice it's just the background. So let's select the background, make sure the background is selected. Then we can go in there and check for refining. We can refine some stuff here. We can go to our patch tool, we can right click and choose patch tool, but you can use any tool that you know that you can be able to erase this thing with. So I'm going to take patch tool, which I'm going to drag around it, then drag it to somewhere else to copy. So this is what we are going to be doing now. Let's shift this to this position. So we have to fill all these areas that's looking like trash. Let's fill them up. These are the shadow anyway, but let's just make it a kind of reduced. So this is it. I think we are okay with the background like this. Okay, let's enable the image. As long as you can see this, we notice that this image is floating on the air. So we are going to bring in something which is going to be sitting on. So let's bring in this seat. Let's pick our move tool and drag it and drop it on this our background layer stuff. So this is the seat. We are going to be placing this image on this seat. Let's see how it's going to fit in. As you can see, you can adjust the size of the image to fit the seat, or you adjust the seat to match the image. Let's just leave the image on one position. So we are going to be adjusting the seat instead of the image. So we are going to adjust the seat. Let's say if we are to make this image a little bit smaller. Okay, let's just assume that the seat is a big seat that the model will be able to move around inside. So let's just assume the seat is like this, as big as this. You can hit OK. Then let's move the seat inside a bit. I don't want us to move the image. We want the image to remain in the same position with this particular image. Let's zoom in. So as you can see, the image is on the seat now. Is the position okay? Let's select the seat and take our move tool. Then we are going to nudge down with our direction key. At least I think this position should be okay. Then we hit OK. It's just like the model is sitting outside the seat. So how can we make the model go inside the seat? Let's select the seat. Let's disable this cutout layer. Then we're going to zoom in. Then take our lasso tool and we are going to create a selection. So let's start the selection from this spot. This spot can go like this. I think we should be okay from this spot. Then let's zoom in a bit. So we are going to take it from here, as you can see. So we can stop here. I think it's okay like this. Then let's use our Ctrl O to place it in the middle. Then with the seat selected, let's rename this to be seat. So with the seat selected, we right click and feather with 2, hit OK. Then use Ctrl C to copy, then Ctrl V to paste. Let's disable the original seat. You notice that we have a part of the seat cut out here. So let's enable it, and we are going to enable this image now. The model's hand is supposed to be inside the seat, not outside the seat. Let's rename this to be arm. So this is, let's carry this arm now and take it up. Let's take it up. Then if you take a look now, you notice that the image is now inside. The image is now inside the seat. Let's take a look. It's inside. instead of outside. Let's disable this. Notice it's outside and now it is inside. So isn't that amazing already? So we are going to distort this seat. Okay, as you can see, if this model is really sitting on this seat, the seat is supposed to be compressed, the foam is supposed to be compressed. So let's see if we'll be able to do that. Let's select the seat and go to filter, then liquify. So we are going to be checking this area. So this area of the seat should be compressed like this. Let's reduce it like this, like this, like this. So the weight of the model should be somewhere around here. We are still going to check. We'll still go and check if it is proper, but if it is not, we can still come back and adjust again. So I think it should be okay like this. Let's check if it is okay with this. Let's hit okay, then see if it is okay. Okay, like what we are seeing now is just appearing like as if it's too much. Okay, what we are going to do now is like we are going to move the seat, because we are not supposed to be moving the image. We are not supposed to be moving the image. We are going to move the seat to see how it's going to look. Then we got to select this seat and the arm together. Then we'll take our move tool. Then we'll nudge towards this other direction to match the seating. I decided not to move the image so that it would look like the original image. So that is why I left it there. It is now in the right position. Let's see again. We succeeded in taking the model inside, and at the same time we still succeeded in distorting the seat. Okay, let's go to the seat again. Let's continue. Let's distort the seat more. Let's distort the seat more. Let's go to filter, then liquify. Then we are going to distort this area. I'm going to take it down a bit, down a bit, a bit. So we have to take this area up a bit. So I think it should be okay. Let's hit okay and see if it's right. It's better this way. So we are going to start creating shadows, and this shadow we are going to create now is going to be on the chair. So if you are to be creating shadow that is going to be on the chair, so we are going to be creating it directly on top of the chair. We are going to select this seat, then we'll go to this layer here, empty layer. We're going to add new layer, click on it. We'll have a fresh layer without anything inside, empty. So we are going to pick our brush tool, then we're going to check our foreground. We are going to change our foreground color to black, because we are going to be using it as shadow. So we are going to hit OK. Then with this brush we can paint in the shadow required. So taking a look at this area, we'll notice that we have to paint in shadow here, shadow of this arm, shadow of this arm, the model's arm. We have to paint in something like this. Wherever somebody is seated, light will not be able to penetrate all through as we are seeing it like this. So we are going to block all those lights there with this shadow, like so. So block the light. So then in blocking the light there, then we can go under here to create a shadow, but we are not going to be using the same layer. We are not going to be using the same layer as that other stuff, that the same layer with this one of the arm. Then okay, before then let's go to opacity and reduce the opacity of the shadow. This shadow here and this one here, let's reduce the opacity down a bit. I think it should be good like so. So I think it's okay like this. If you take a look at it now, it's looking a bit natural. Okay, let's continue. We'll make it natural. We'll make it realistic. We are going to be painting in shadows around the legs like this. The shadow we are going to create now is still going to be on the chair. You have to add new layer on the chair, on top of the chair. Let's select the seat and add layer. Then we can draw something from this. You can see that the brush is on the image now. So I can brush from the image and bring it out like so. Like so. Then I can bring it down. Then I'll go again with the same layer. I can see add to the top side. I can add to the top side like so. So what we are going to be doing now is like we are going to, let's take it down also to this extent. It's got that is going to be resting on the seat. So that is it. This is how we're going to leave it. Then we are done with this, but we can still come back and make adjustments for this. Let's go to the opacity and reduce the opacity a bit like this. Please don't mind the fringes here. We are going to be remove fringes, but it's not up to that stage. So we are going to reduce opacity to like 70, 75. I think this should be okay. Let's add an empty layer. Then we are going to reduce our brush size this time, and this time is going to be under directly under the image like so. It's going to make this shadow directly under be thicker than the one that is outside. So let's reduce the opacity. We can reduce the opacity a bit. So I think it's okay. So if you take a look at the shadow now, it's showing that somebody is seated on the chair. Okay, let's go again and see if we can reduce the opacity. Let's reduce the opacity, and I think it's okay this way. We are going to be removing the fringes around the image with a very simple step. So how do we go about that? So this is the image. Let's select the image. So we are going to select the cutout image and hold our control and click inside the box of the cutout image to load the selection. Now we have our selection back. We are going to invert the selection so as to delete the fringes around the image. We have to make sure the cutout image is selected. Select our lasso tool, then right click and select inverse. We have to right click again and feather with 2, hit OK. Then we're going to push our delete 3 times. So we are going to push delete 1, 2, 3. So let's use our Ctrl D to deselect. Let's go back and see if the fringes are still there. It's like I'm still seeing something. Then I have to go manually and remove the fringes there because that area is so dark. Let's go in there and manually remove the fringes. So I have to select like this and have to cut into the image to make sure there will be no fringes around there. So we have to round it up here and right click feather with 2. Then we have to delete that portion once. Then we have to use our Ctrl D to deselect. Then let's check if there's any fringes. I think there's no longer fringes there. So we are going to be creating shadow on the floor. So let's zoom in, select the background layer. The shadow we are going to be creating now is not going to be in between the image and the seat, but in between the seat and the background. So we are going to select the background, click on the new layer, new empty layer. Then we'll go to our brush tool, make sure we have black selected for our foreground. Then we can start painting on the floor. So we can reduce the brush size to match this shoe here. Then we can drag it to the bottom of the shoe like this. You can place opacity and flow at 100 so as to be getting it live and direct. So we can spread it from here like this, and we can start from here and spread it all the way here like so. So I believe we've gotten that one. Then from this spot we are going to go to under the shoe here. So we got to spread it from there. Have to start from this point and spread it to this point. So we have it this way. So this is what we had from the shoe. We are going to be creating them separately. So I'm going to leave this for just the shadow of the shoe. Let's go to the opacity and reduce the opacity to, I think 26 is okay. We can still come back and increase or reduce the opacity. Let's leave it like this. In between the shoe and the background, we are going to add another layer on top of the background. Go to select the background layer. Then I'm going to click for new layer, which is layer 5. We are going to reduce our brush and drop it in between the background and the shoe. So it will be okay like so. This should be under, directly under, very tiny, very tiny. That is why you have to zoom in very well before you reduce your brush size. So we'll have it like this. Let's go to the other one and do the same from here to here. You can give it a little space here like this. Then you can do the same thing to this heel. I think it's okay. Then we have to go to the seat, the leg of the seat. So we have to increase the size of the brush, then paint something under. This is just to connect the seat with the ground. It don't have to be floating like this. Let's add one here. There should be a tiny shadow there. So let's go to this other side and do the same to the third leg that is visible. Now we cannot see the other leg, so we have to leave it. So if you take a look now, we have it connected to the ground. You can reduce the opacity anyway. Reduce the opacity. I think 70 or 69 should be okay. Let's leave it this way. So we are going to click on the background and click on empty layer again. So we are going to be creating something like as if the shadow of the leg is going inside. Let's just take it that way. Let's assume that the shadow of the leg is going inside the seat like this. Go under the seat like this. We have to increase the brush size. Then we have to spread it out like this, add it to this other guy, and this is what we have. So you can make sure it's properly connected like this. Can reduce the shadow to an extent to match that of the shoe. Okay, I think this should be okay. It's looking natural. Let's go to the other shadow, which is layer 4, the one that's under the shoe. Then I think what we have is okay now. So taking a look at this image now, I notice that a wonderful job has been done here. So let's zoom in and see if it is realistic as we think it can be. Let's see. Is that not a magic? And let's go to this direct on shadow under the seat and increase the shadow a bit. I think it should be okay like this. There are supposed to be some other things that are to be added to this stuff, but for now, because of time, we are going to stop here. In some other tutorial, we can continue from here we stop. I'm going to enable this last layer. Hold down my Alt and click on this to see the before. That was why I decided not to move the image from the position. Okay, just imagine that the image is still sitting on this other seat. Let's see the magic. Let's hold our Alt again and do the same thing. So this is before and this is after. This is before and this is after. This is before, this is after. Isn't that amazing? I believe that is it for today. If you find it interesting, helpful and useful, let us know in the comment section telling us the area it has helped, the area it has not, and the area we need to improve on. Like I said earlier, if you are new on this channel, please do me a favor. Do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button. Not just hitting that subscribe button, also ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the next video. Thanks for watching today's video. Creative people keep on creating. See you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.